want you to think what this was like. Ruth had spent that whole day there, and she'd been gathering like crazy. And to give you a sense of how amazing this was, guys, I need you to realize that that ephah of barley was about 20 to 25 pounds. That would have more than filled this laundry basket. Think about that. That's what she walked home with, in addition to the food that she had left over from lunch. I mean, huge success. Naomi is shocked, like, how could this possibly be? Where did you go? Whose field were you in? And I got to tell you guys, when she was like, Ruth said, well, he said his name was Boaz. I can pretty much promise you that Naomi was like this. You see, all of a sudden, all the matchmaking genes began to kick in there like, really, Boaz? Huh, he's actually a relative of our family. Now, she uses a term. She says there, he is one of our closest relatives. The actual Hebrew word there is the word redeemer. 2 different times in the Old Testament, the term redeemer is used. It explains what that is. In Leviticus chapter 25, the redeemer had the responsibility, if someone died like that happened here, to come in and to actually buy the land back that they had to sell because now they had to, get some money that he used to own and put that back into his name. All right, so Mahlon, Chilion, they would have that. In addition to that, then, you have Deuteronomy 25. Now there, the Redeemer has the responsibility. Now there, it was a brother who was to marry the widow and raise up children. I got to believe Naomi at this point was hoping that part applied as well. Now, guys, what I want you to get a hold of, and I want to make sure we point this out. Did you see Naomi? Remember Miss Mara? I'm so bitter. God is so awful. Look what he's done to me. And do you see all of a sudden she's like, oh, God, thank you so much. And oh, you haven't forgotten us. And oh, you're just so wonderful. Guys, sometimes God works a little bit in spite of us. She was so sure that she was blaming God for everything. Here, just get the memo now. It's a life lesson that I've learned. At any point you start to blame God, you're wrong. It's just how it works. She was wrong at every point that was there. God was never working against her. He was fighting on her behalf in the middle of hardships that the enemy was trying to attack him with. And guys, when you look at it that way, everything changes. But I want you to see a final thing, and that is this. It made a statement right at the end of the chapter, and it said there that Ruth continued to do that work, continued to glean in the field through the barley and the wheat harvest. Guys, that was 3 to 4 months. For 3 to 4 months, she got up, she put on her work clothes, she went out, she sweat, she got dirty, she continued to bring food back to provide for the limited family that she had. She kept trusting God. And during that time, it was kind of rough. She wondered where her life was going to go, how this thing was going to come together. And the reality is that God was stepping right in there. She needed to keep stepping for God, whether it felt like it was working or whether it didn't. That's how it had to be. One of my favorite passages in the Bible talks about this relationship between us and God, us doing our part and trusting God and watching God work. It's Psalm 37, verses 3 through 7. Listen to it. It says, trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture, his protection. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, and the justice of your cause like the noonday sun. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do you see that? All the connections of trust, of belief, of counting on God, us taking that first step, God stepping in, and then, guys, we hang in there because we know we're going to follow God regardless. We're back to the covenant of salt. We're going to follow God. We're in it or life. Now, I want